Hello! So, last week it was Halloween. People like to party and dress in slutty fashion this time of the year. Some other people like to go out trick-or-treating and get some candy from the neighbors. But other people, like me, like to stay at home and watch horror movies. No, not this crap. Real horror movies, like this one.
Come and play with us. Come and play with us, Danny. Forever and ever and ever.
Real horror. But do you know what really makes students of the English department at UMSE jump the hell out of our chairs? Exactly, because most students in my generation are really scared of failing such a complicated subject like this. Some of them do not understand anything during second year, and when they come to understand some things of the contents of the subject, comes third year and the new teacher changes everything. It is so frustrating. So I decided to ask my classmates from third, fourth and fifth year about their opinions on grammar courses at UMSE and their views in the particular contents of this subject.
I asked 37 people from the last 3 years of the career, aka my sample, to answer questions like, have you ever failed any grammar course in this career? 65% of the sample declared that they had not failed any grammar course, while the remaining 35%, that is to say 7 people, said that they had failed grammar at least once, and some of them more than once. When asked these 7 people, which teacher did you fail the course with, and considering as options Professor Roberto Pichihueche, Pablo Corvalán, Leandro Silva, and any other, for example Adrián Agüero, 41% of the students who failed the course did it with Professor Pichihueche, followed by Professor Silva with 23% and Professors Corvalán and Agüero, each one with 18%. Then I wanted to ask about a complicated matter: the different methods used by teachers to analyze sentences, one of the most difficult tasks in grammar. When asked which method of analysis were they more familiar with, 30% of the sample responded it was the traditional branches method, against an overwhelming 65% that responded it was the alternative parenthesis method. Only 5% chose a different non-stated option. Nevertheless, when I asked them about which method do they think was easier for them to understand, the difference between the traditional and the alternative methods decreased significantly, with 49% and 46% of the preferences respectively. The choice for a different option remained the same. The following question was if we should be taught different methods of analysis of sentences. That is to say, more than one. A devastating 70% of the choices inclined towards the option yes, against 30% of no. After that, I asked about the level of importance they give to the following statement: all teachers of grammar of the career should work together and coordinate their methods of teaching grammatical analysis. 65% of the sample said this was a very important thing to do for our teachers. 32% said it could be an important consideration, and barely 3% of the sample said it wasn't very important. Finally, I cut to the chase. How would you consider the idea of having only one method of analysis of sentences for all grammar courses of the career? I asked. 46% of the sample stated it would be helpful, and an additional 11% said it was extremely necessary. However, a significant 35% indicated that it wasn't a really important issue, and 8% of the sample surprisingly stated that it was completely unnecessary. After all these questions and answers, I finally concluded that a good sample of the students of the English department at UMSE agreed to the current state of the grammatical analysis taught in the career. Most of them considered that being taught only one method would hinder the learning process of some of them, as different people learn in different ways.
So, this is something we would like to keep in the career.
Nonetheless, they consider it was a fundamental issue for the teachers to work together and coordinate the different approaches to the subject. Different methods of analysis shouldn't be a synonym of different structural content. That way, it would be easier for the students of second year to understand the contents once they are promoted to third year, and the amount of failure for grammar would decrease. After all, learning grammar shouldn't be such a frightening experience. It should be a piece of candy.